John O'Brien and Joannes Workshop don't have far to go to work every morning. Their commute consists of opening their front door and walking across to their workshop. The couple own their own business, and the inspiration behind it happened over 20 years ago, 5,000 miles across the Atlantic.
I don't think you really appreciate Ireland until you leave it. And John and I immigrated in the mid-80s, and we went to Boston. And numerous times in Boston we'd have turf, illegal turf brought in, like the old original sod, and we'd burn a bit. And the smell would really bring us back to home. And we were all some way homesick at the time. And I remember at a particular party or gathering, someone said, "I'd pay for the smell of this turf." And I remember I saying to John, "If you can make it, I'll sell it."
It was such a simple idea, really, and such an outrageous thought. When we eventually came back from the States, I spoke to my father one night about it. He worked in a laboratory all his life, and asked him what the procedure might be or how they would handle it if they were to try and manufacture an incense.
John and Joannes wanted to make turf incense, but it wasn't as straightforward an idea as it seemed.
Turf is a very dense, it's a very heavy, dense product, and if you put a cigarette lighter to it, you'd be waiting for hours for it to light. So it is treated, in a sense, reconstituted to the form of an incense so that it'll burn.
It's basically like making bread. We just get the correct amount of fibre together and the right amount of water to get the right moisture content. The turf, we get it from Anaholty bog, which is the bog where my grandfather and great-grandfather got their turf. We just dig it out, put it into bags and bring it back here. And we mix it with another type of turf, which is it's like a moss peat. The two then are mixed together in a big mixer. And from there we would put them into moulds that will mould the turf to give it the incense. We find the easiest way to dry them is to leave them out in the natural elements, basically to recreate the bog, the warm sunshine. We've tried pizza ovens, fan ovens, all kinds of ovens, and it was a disaster. So we just have to bring the bog back home here and wait for a fine sunny day.
Once they'd perfected the mix, the next stage was packaging an item which by itself wasn't that attractive. Once again, John's father came to the rescue.
My dad grew up in a thatched house up in the Silver Mines Mountains, in a very actually gorgeous setting right by a river. It's a place called Shanahool. Before he died, he actually got us to understand where he came from, and he actually made a model of the house for us to understand.
That model became the packaging inspiration for turf incense, and the couple launched their business in 1993. 3 years later, it appeared on The Late Late Show.
And you light this, and you put it in here, and lo and behold, your house anywhere in the world will smell of an Irish
smells
turf
of turf, right
fire.
enough. It smells of turf. When it gets going, it smells of turf.
It's beautifully presented. This is a winner. This is definitely a lovely, lovely present.
And you sit there in Chicago going, "When Irish eyes are smiling." You're right enough, it smells of it. Well, it would. It's turf. It's actually number one. And that.
It was a great start for a new business, but the couple found they still had a lot to learn.
We used to call it Irish turf aroma. Like aroma in the States is a perfume, and turf isn't a perfume. And turf there isn't the turf we have here, they call it peat. So we had to change all the wording on the packaging once we realised in the States that they didn't understand the product that we were trying to sell them. Usually they go, "What?" And turf what? Or what incense? They just don't get it. Irish people, American people, any people. And usually once they cop on to what I'm talking about and I explain it, they just laugh.
But 15 years on, John and Joannes are having the last laugh, and their customer base has widened.
We have people who want it. We have priests who want it for weddings and wakes in America. We have dry cleaners in Dublin who wanted to put the smell in the shop. We have Kerry people living in Dublin who only can have gas fires and they want the smell of turf. In Germany they buy a lot of Irish turf incense. I have no idea why. On our new packaging we also have information in German and in French, because the French and the Germans love the smell of Irish turf.
The business now employs 3 people, and even in the current uncertain climate, the couple are sure turf incense is here to stay.
I met an old lady at a trade show in Chicago. She hadn't been home in 70 years, and when she smelled the turf, it just brought back the nostalgia to her of Ireland.
This is a really authentic Irish smell, and I don't know any other smell that's in Ireland that is authentically Irish.
It just started from nothing, you see, and it just grew and grew and grew, and it's still growing and growing and growing, and please God, it'll stay going.